Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. How you doing today?
All 5 of you.
Just a
Thanks for joining us.
It's just a grimy Ben episode. I apologize for my appearance, but it is Sunday.
Yeah, it's a day of rest.
It is
You're
a day
just
of rest.
adhering to the Lord's word.
I am definitely adhering to the utmost ability to the day of rest, also called day of laziness.
Bush lattes.
Oh God, the bush lattes are outrageous today.
That's right. Should we start the podcast?
I think we should. Let's jump in here. I'm going to put this back where it needs to be. Audio track 1, ready to go. You ready, Sean?
Yep.
Here we go. Thanks, YouTube.
Hello, and welcome to the BOWA Show. Episode 40.
40, we're getting up there.
Season 2, episode 3?
Yes, correct.
I'm going to lose track of those eventually.
I know, it's going to get tough.
But at least we'll have the overall number.
Lordy, BOWA Show's 40.
Yeah, that's right. Living a positive life in a world that makes that incredibly difficult at times.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of this show, whether you're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from for your positivity package, leave us a review. It makes a huge difference. Find us on Facebook, the BOWA Show Podcast, for little things throughout the week. Twitter actually has a lot of stuff on it too, so check out the Twitter page.
I told you it'd be coming up.
And of course, our growing community on YouTube, cough, non-existent.
Well,
5 people.
A little bit of a...
There's some promise behind it.
A little bit of a promise here today.
We'll see what comes out about it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, click that subscribe button down there.
Yep, the little bell icon will let you know every time we release a new video, which is every Monday.
Click that bastard too.
Yeah. Just spam it. Just click it as many times as you can.
No, it has to be an even amount of times because otherwise you've unclicked it. Because if you click it twice, you're not subscribed.
All right, we'll do it an even amount of times. Mash it an even amount of times.
And thank you, the audience.
Thank you for joining
us today.
Yes.
It is always fantastic to have you joining the BOWA Show. Our constant growing listens on the actual podcast. You're what keep us going.
In the international reach we're getting every week, it seems like we get a few more international listens from different places we weren't expecting. We really appreciate that. We're seeing that people are listening and or watching that we may or may not have any idea how they found out about the show.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yeah.
It's been great.
And
it's been good.
And you don't hear it often enough. You are awesome.
Yes.
You're phenomenal. And
just the way you are.
Most of the time you go through life and you're like, damn, I feel underappreciated. Well, not when it comes to us. Not today.
Not today.
Not up in here. Not up in
here. We're going to blow people's speakers out with that one.
No, we at least muffled it a little bit.
Right.
So it doesn't look that bad.
No, it's not too bad. Yeah, no clipping.
Might have to pull it a little.
We'll be all right. Whenever I open my beer cans, it's worse than that.
That's true.
That's right.
That's a loud crack every time.
It is a loud crack. But
how are you feeling today, Ben?
I've been feeling really good. The last week or two has made some... I've had some very deep thought and made some big decisions the last week or two that I think are going to influence me going through the rest of 2020 with my life, my family, and my career.
Maybe the future decade.
Yeah. I think big things are on my horizon.
New year, new decade might not just be a flash in the pan for you. It might be very real.
It's going to be real. I really feel it. I think change is coming because I'm going to make it happen. But we did just get big news right before we got on the air too. So it's kind of a sad moment as well.
That's right. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant.
That news is breaking literally as we sit here.
Yeah. We're recording today, the day before the episode will release
currently.
So it's just crazy. Sean and I were talking about what a man Kobe Bryant was, and he defines basketball when you think of Sean and I's generation.
It's a fact.
The 90s and early 2000s.
When someone throws something in a trash can, they yell, Kobe.
Yeah, it's been happening since I was in middle school. Still happens to this day. But rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. You will be missed.
Far too young.
41 years old.
It always brings me back to losing friends at such a young age in high school. And
when someone passes when they're not supposed to yet,
right? When you're in the prime of your life, for him, he's retired, a millionaire, and he's got time to spend with his wife and kids, and
he's in pop culture, and rap
he's
videos,
an analyst, and getting paid to go watch basketball games, and just his commentary, his knowledge is a wealth of knowledge.
He is a top tier successful person.
Yeah,
the idea of success is Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, there's
in a lot
Kobe
of
the
senses.
person and Kobe the brand, and his brand is gonna be remembered forever, and so will Kobe the person.
Yes,
so
he will.
Rest in peace,
Rest
Kobe
in
Bryant.
peace, Kobe Bryant.
We always like to start this show with good news, and unfortunately, that was some sad news. But it's a part of life. I mean, sad is real.
We would like to celebrate the life of Kobe Bryant. You know, take this time, think about what he really was to the basketball community, what he was to you, and what he was to his teammates. You know, at times he came up in the news for good and for bad. Things went down, but when it comes down to it, everybody, I feel like, has a good idea of who Kobe Bryant is in their life. For me, the pop culture aspect of Kobe and how he played basketball is the most important. And I really appreciated the way he played and the way he was an athlete. And then coming out of retirement, he didn't seem like he was going to be the most, giving, but, whatever.
Yeah.
He's not Michael Strahan.
Yeah.
But I think Kobe Bryant at 41 years old, definitely too young. We will celebrate his life, and I'm sure ESPN will be doing that all week.
Yeah, you'll see all the contributions, and I believe it was just on the anniversary of his 81-point game. That was just a couple of days ago. That was all over the news and everything else. That he had just had that anniversary.
What a career! That's all we're saying.
Yep.
Let's do good news. This is a really good one, Sean. I don't have it pulled up on my computer yet for some reason.
Well, you're slacking. So that's definitely just a short, sweet, to the point, but it'll also lead to a little bit of talking, because one thing that I am excited about recently is we've plugged Libby, the app, on this show now a couple of times. If you don't have it, download it. It lets you tie into your local library and download audiobooks.
We are not sponsored.
No, not at all. Maybe one day. But I definitely love when I'm driving in the car listening to audiobooks. I listen to podcasts all the time. I really do. Part of why I like doing this show and knowing that we do it is because I enjoy podcasts so much. But listening to books now, too, is going to be a fantastic addition for me. And I struggle...
Especially with your driving.
Right. It's funny, too, that I can, sit down and meditate, which is just totally clearing your mind, thinking of nothing. But I really struggle to just sit and read. And so if I'm in the truck all the time anyway, listening to books is just a much easier way for me to focus in on it and just let it happen.
So Libby, basically, or Override, they're both the same thing, different apps, but they run on the same thing.
Okay.
You put your library card in, you can rent books for your Kindle or audiobooks or whatever directly to your phone or your computer. Get out there and read more. You don't have to spend money to buy books and to rent books. Just do it for free. Use the Libby app.
Yeah, growth is huge.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be growing.
What was it? I think Time last year said that CEOs in America, they said the average was people read 35 to 40 books throughout the year was what CEOs in America were doing. And I think that's so true, because people who are higher up in companies and people who know that, education and growth is constant, once you're done with school doesn't mean you're done learning.
Right.
And you have to be your own professor at this point. You have to be your own teacher. So by learning and reading, even if you hate the book, put it down. Try another one. Just pick up books, read it. It's like having a conversation with somebody that's not actually in front of you. It's invaluable.
Yeah.
The reading. You have to read.
So thanks for turning me on to the Libby app, Ben, because I think I'm going to really enjoy that for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, my Kindle is warm at all times for me. We're skimming through Libby, freaking reading all the time. Just got a new one, Hillbilly Elegy. It's a great one, J.D. Martinez. Check it out.
In 2019, more Americans went to the library than to the movies.
I couldn't believe it. When
yes, really.
Really.
That's
literally the title
of the headline.
And it's crazy if you think about it.
It is. That is unbelievable, and it's so. It gives me a lot of hope. Now.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to see the film industry struggling, but at the same time, they're dishing out a lot of crap. They do a lot of rehashes and just keep turning out sequels and
I also
going
don't
back
want to see
redo.
libraries go bad.
Yeah.
So many people say, why do we pay for libraries, in our taxes?
And these numbers are now showing why. Yeah.
I think that if you wrap it into the fact that vinyl records sold more last year than CDs, we're coming back to the physical reality of tangible media. I like that.
Yeah. The U.S. film industry may have generated revenue somewhere in the region of $40 billion last year, but it seems Hollywood still has plenty of work to do if it wants to compete with that most hallowed of American institutions, the public library. Yes, according to a recent Gallup poll, the first such survey since 2001, visiting the local library remains by far the most common cultural activity Americans engage in, as reported earlier today by Justin McCarthy.
Visiting the library remains the most common cultural activity Americans engage in by far. The average 10.5 trips to the library U.S. adults report taking in 2019 exceeds their participation in 8 other common leisure activities. Americans attend live music or theatrical events and visit national or historic parks roughly 4 times a year on average, and visit museums and gambling casinos 2.5 times annually. Trips to amusement or theme parks 1.5 times annually, and zoos 0.9 times annually are the least common activities among the list.
The results of the Gallup poll have been broken down in a range of different ways, all of which you can peruse at your leisure, but 2 of the more interesting, though unsurprising findings are that women report visiting the library nearly twice as frequently as men do, and that libraries are visited by most adults in low-income households and least by adults in high-income households. Congratulations to all you librarians out there. Keep fighting the good fight. Pour one out for the zookeepers, though. It appears they may not be there long for this world.
Well, I think that last statistic is something we can kind of talk about, and I think it makes sense when you put it into perspective that libraries, visiting the library nearly twice as frequently as men do, females, and that libraries are visited most by adults in low-income households. If you think about it, libraries are not only great for renting books for free, giving people knowledge for free, giving people internet access and computers for free.
Right.
That's
huge.
I've heard people talk and say, why do we still fund libraries with our taxes? I don't ever go to the library. I'm at the library probably right around that 10 to 12 times a year,
right.
At least a monthly trip. I love the place. But it makes sense, too, like anybody who needs education and they don't know where to get it. Books are free.
Yeah.
Go read. If you can read, you're already blessed. Second, you've got free books at your disposal at a building in your city that you can go to at any time and rent them out. Sit there all day. The librarians would love to recommend this stuff to you. And then if you don't have a computer because of financials or, because it's not something you ever adopted, earlier in life, they got computers, computer classes. They got free internet. Just go. What a great resource that I think is benefiting public culture by being there. Libraries are so underappreciated, but reading these kind of statistics makes me realize that maybe in pop culture or in my daily life and through talking to other people, I assume it's underappreciated, but it's obviously not.
Yeah.
A lot of people know about libraries and how to utilize them, and I'm actually quite impressed and happy with these statistics.
Yeah, and I know my numbers may fall a little bit if I'm allowed to use this Libby app at free range to where I don't have to physically go to the library anymore, but it's still a resource of the library.
It is. It's through the library.
Yep.
That's what's so great about Libby app. You only get the books available to you within your library district that is based on your library card.
Yep.
So you have to go get a library card before you can get on Libby. I think you can do that online now, too.
Right, you might be able to just get a library card online.
But regardless, you're utilizing a public resource that everybody pays for to better yourself recreationally or educationally. What can go wrong there?
Right. Nothing. You can grow.
And you can grow for free.
Yep, you can. That's the cool thing is that, no matter what your style is, you can find books for you. You don't have to go to the library and read all self-help books or self-improvement books or personal growth books. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. Find a line of fiction that you like. Find authors that you like. Find things that intrigue you. maybe you do want to grow and have, self-improvement. They've got tons of those books at the library. Maybe you want to learn a new trade. They have books for that. Maybe, it's like you said, even just down to internet access, how big that is for some people.
Or go peruse the magazines, or go peruse the DVDs they have available for free, or go peruse the audiobooks that they do have in store. Or you can even go downstairs at the library we have locally and purchase used books, purchase vinyl records, purchase CDs. I mean, it's a wonderful public resource that I don't think people take advantage of enough. But again, these statistics
show that they are.
That. People are using
You're
them.
thinking that they're not, but they're actually pretty
used.
popular.
They are very popular. I love that. I love that because I love libraries. A lot of people think it's stuffy and it's just, the librarian in the back punching books out. I kind of find some solace in that.
Right.
It's very nice. I love libraries. So I'm the wrong person to ask about this one because I'm happy about the statistics, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I am surprised, but I'm not surprised.
You just said you're surprised.
It's like I'm in the middle because it's like, yeah, what? Duh. Like, of course. But when I talk to my friends, none of them have been to a library. Yeah. I mean, I only have, 1.5 friends?
I mean, I've been to the library then, so I account for a part of that.
But what great news. Because like I was saying about vinyl records and tangible media, I think it's important for people to remember so often in today's day and age with social media and online content, so much of it becomes disposable. We watch something, forget about it. Like we watch it for 10, 15 minutes or a YouTube video for 5 minutes and it's done. We get rid of it. We're not talking about it. We're not watching it again. But physical, tangible books, music, and magazines, records, internet content, it can all be something to benefit and something to retain. And I think that's what libraries are instilling. I have seen people at the library just playing RuneScape or something along those lines, but I think that people go to libraries to get access to something they don't have for free, which is awesome. It's like a food kitchen for intelligence or knowledge or recreation. I love that about it.
Hey, that was a good analogy, Ben.
I mean, it's a food kitchen for brain food.
A food kitchen,
It's a brain food kitchen.
Like, there's not many other kinds of
soup kitchen. Sorry, brain soup kitchen. How's that?
There you go. Yeah.
That's one of the Matt moments he's going to comment. He's going to text me and say, Ben, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Go to your local library.
So I think what may become a part of the show in the future, since both you and I are upping our game in books, we might have to do like a book review.
I would love a BOWA Show book club.
Yeah, we could easily throw that out to people like, hey, this is the review we're going to do next week. Maybe you want to read it throughout the week for the people, because there's a good core of people who listen on Monday morning specifically. So those people could easily jump on board to try and read a book a week. So maybe we'll include that as a challenge for you guys, but I know that I just finished The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And
great book.
There's our F-bomb for the episode and why we're explicit. So, but it's the name of the book. It's not my fault that he named his book that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it is a great read, one that I'll recommend to everybody out there because it hits on a very different perspective of positivity and how to channel your energy and
instead of caring so much, it's literally about not giving a fuck. It's
that
completely different.
You need to reprioritize.
Right.
That we in the United States, especially today, the developed world, we're so rushed through everything that we care way too much about way too many things that are not important and not significant at all. And we spend so much of our time stressing and worrying about
to happiness. That's not important to happiness specifically or to future success.
Yeah.
Like the idea of that everybody has to have a side hustle.
Right.
To be living their best life.
Yeah.
Instead of having a hobby or fulfillment in their spare time.
Off mic, you and I were just talking about that. Get rid of the grind mentality. You have to have a grind. You have to have a side grind. You have to have a hustle on top of your hustle, and you have to be doing things all the time. No, you don't. Not everybody needs to be rich, and not everybody needs to be, driven by that for happiness. And we just don't put enough time into happiness in this world, and that's what a big focus of this show has always been and will continue to be, is that you need to find your happiness.
Yeah, I mean, if wealth is your goal, obviously grinding and having side hustles and
needs to be a huge
multiple forms of income and multiple streams of income is important, yes. But for so many people, that's all we see online, and all these people living, quote-unquote, their best lives. revolves around people who are able to do amazing things, very wealthy things to an extent, all this travel and international travel.
Yep.
But taking a step back and saying, you know what, I don't need to be Mark Cuban to be happy.
Yep.
And I shouldn't have to be Mark Cuban to be happy, and I probably won't be Mark Cuban, so that shouldn't make me unhappy.
Right.
It needs to be about finding the time to do you.
And not enough people are.
No, I'm at that place right now where I'm starting to say, look, if it's not going to benefit me on a daily basis and I don't see a future for it, let's cut it, take a step back. If it's a job or something you still got to do, keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But take time where you can find it to get involved in hobbies or read or spend time with family, spend time with friends. Get back to what you think 5 years back, what made me happy. 10 years back, what made me happy. As a child, what made me happy. Try it out again. Don't sit there at night and beat yourself up. Anxiety does that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll come home and say, I should be doing this. I should be reading. I should be working on taxes. I should be working on Facebook or social media content to benefit a side hustle and bring me in money. And then I end up doing nothing because I beat myself up the whole time about not doing it, so that I don't do anything. That doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Or if I had come home and said, I went big at work, I went big in my career today, I went big in my happiness today, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to do me. I'm going to go home and find the home inside of me. What's going to make me happy tonight to solidify my day? Oftentimes it comes down to reading, sometimes cooking, sometimes hanging out with family and friends, just watching a movie, maybe a glass of wine. Go big at work, but then go home and enjoy your time.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy yourself and enjoy life.
Yep.
Because that's going to make tomorrow better.
It does.
That's literally all it's about. For me, it's when I go out fishing in the summer. Well, as soon as you get on that, when you get on that boat, I'm just saying, I could be at work in the same place as always, have a tough day. I get on my boat and I go out into the Grand River, and I'm in some random bayous and things here and there. All of a sudden, I'm in like a new place. I'm on my boat. I'm in nature. It's beautiful. I'm doing my thing. It's like a whole new day.
Yeah.
But during the same day. And when you come off of that boat and you go home, I feel different when I get home. And I think that's the important thing to have in every day. It's not go to work, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, go to sleep. That's how people get burnt out. Mm-hmm. That's how I've been burnt out. That's how a lot of us have been burnt out. Taking time to find those hobbies and that passion is what it's all about. You have to. That's happiness. Unless you're happy at work, then do that all the time. I don't know.
The rare blessings of enjoying work.
If you enjoy your job and your career, congratulations. You are much further ahead, or have a bigger blessing than others that can't afford that luxury.
Right.
For any given reason.
I know a lot recently too. We've talked about pursuing that happiness, finding different outlets, trying new things. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that can be driven home enough, for people, because all too often times it's like, without getting the immediate gratification you were looking for out of it, it's like it's not worth it anymore, but that doesn't mean you stop trying. The only time that you truly fail in the pursuit of happiness is giving up and not trying anything new. A good chunk of that book talks about that. For me, was just like, some effort is okay. A lot of times with workouts and stuff, you get so discouraged because you set a first goal when you approach it, like, I want to lose 40 pounds, and the fact that might be 6 months away is a struggle for people to mentally get over that hurdle. You start setting more approachable goals, like, I'm going to run for 5 minutes on the treadmill. And then the next day I'm going to run for 6 minutes on the treadmill. And then, you're able to actually see steps of progress that are much more attainable than the overall goal of, I want to lose 40 pounds. Right. But if you only focus on the 40 pounds, it's much easier to get discouraged. Whereas if you're just trying to beat your treadmill time from yesterday by 1 minute, it's much more doable.
Right. Yeah, you can't change overnight. That's why, it's a running joke that, hey, I went to the gym today, or yesterday, went home and got in the shower, and I didn't have abs, so I'm not going today. It didn't work. The gym was broken, obviously. I don't have abs after one workout. What's going on?
It's a wrap on that.
It's what we want, but it's not always attainable. That's what just gets me. It's like when you go to the gym and you work out too hard the first time because you have all these expectations, like, I'm going to be fucking yoked
right
in 2 weeks, and so you work your ass off. The next day you can't even go because you overworked yourself.
Yep.
It's the same way mentally.
You would have been better off giving 50% the day before, and to be able to follow through the next day and give 50% again.
Right. And that's physical, and we can even think about that mentally. I can say, Ben, you need to read more, you need to go outside more, you need to enjoy family and friends more. So then the next day, I spend 2 hours on the phone with family and friends. I go for a 2-hour hike. I force myself to read a bunch of chapters of this book. By the time I'm done, I'm exhausted. I didn't enjoy any of it because I was forcing myself through it. Small changes. Just make those small steps. Maybe, you split it up, do your thing. But I think it's the same way mentally. You can't overwork yourself and expect too much mentally. You can't make an instant change mentally and expect instant results tomorrow. It's got to be small. It's got to be something where you can hold yourself accountable and just do small, increasing amounts of effort or see smaller amounts of success daily so that you don't burn yourself out. If you want to read more, read 10 pages. The next day, read 11. The next day, read 12. You don't have to read a book a day.
Yep.
I mean, come on, it's just small things. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out and you're going to give up.
Yep. And I was talking to you before we started recording that's one of the changes I've made to implementing a workout routine is that, for a long time I would just stick to like, oh, I've got to do a program, and follow it through the day by days. And that can get really monotonous, just feeling like you're repeating the same things over and over again. So taking a new approach this year of just like, what, I'm going to do X amount of time on the elliptical every day. I'm going to build that time up more and more and more. I've never enjoyed running, so I'm going to put a focus on this elliptical to say I'm going to do it, and I'm going to increase my time each day. I started at 5 minutes was all, and it was like, tomorrow I want to do 6. And then I ended up doing 8 minutes the next day instead. And it's like, okay, you can actually push yourself a little bit more than you think you can. And you build that time up and you put in that effort. And, I mix up daily workouts like, oh, today I'm going to work my arms, and so I find a program that just goes through that. And tomorrow I might do something totally different. And I'm just changing things up constantly so that I don't feel like I'm just falling into a rut. Find ways to keep things interesting. Find ways to keep them fresh for yourself. But it's also now the 26th today as we're recording this. I am 26 for 26 on workouts in 2020, so it's working for me mentally. The other cool thing too is that it's like you just said about increments. Like I started off and maybe this is kind of like a New Year's resolution follow-up episode for us of how the things we've been sticking to, because one of the things I do want is more healthy mind, body, spirit, that perfect flow in unison together and working properly is what I'm going for out of 2020. And I think that is a big focus, has been the increments. The one thing that I said is, okay, don't miss a workout. Just stick to that. Don't worry about the diet right now. Let it come to you, and so you still enjoy things. You still, but the more you actually stick to, no, but I'm not going to miss a workout. I'm going to do that every day. For me, too, I know it's a huge benefit that I work out in my basement, so I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to motivate myself to go to the gym. It's just a matter of, go downstairs and do it and just focus on it and just knock it out right now. So I know that's a big advantage for me, but increments, and starting out with just the workouts, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well now I'm going to start eating better because I don't want to just waste what I'm doing with the workouts. And then, drinking a lot more water and making smarter decisions throughout the day that way. And, then you start realizing where your problem areas are, and it's like, oh, that's late night snacking for me is always the thing that I have to avoid, and I have to make a conscientious effort to stay away from. And so you start making those decisions and you tie them in, but everything is just a series of small steps, and that's everything we talk about. Everything in life, is just those small steps that get you to where you're going, even though you might not know that small step is going to lead to this one, which leads to that one, which leads to this one. You never have to know how the dots are going to connect. You just have to have faith that there's a bigger picture out there that you're trying to get to.
Right. And one routine at a time. Mentally and physically, your body can only handle so much, and you only need to handle so much. Some people are stronger than others and can get on a new workout plan and a new diet on the same day and be successful. Others can't, but don't judge yourself next to the person that can.
Right.
Do you, and make small improvements.
Find what works for you.
Whatever works for you is the best medicine.
Yep. But way too often you get like locked into like, this is the way it needs to be. I have to do all or nothing, you know.
Welcome
and then
to social media,
2020. And then the first day that you mess up, you feel like the world has ended, and that you're just, why even bother tomorrow because I messed up today so badly.
And that shouldn't be.
Right.
You know, the idea of FOMO, I've gone off on FOMO 3 or 4 times now on this show. The idea that instead of living our lives, adjusting our lives, and trying to be happy in our lives nowadays, with social media and the internet and careers the way they are right now, and the financials the way they are right now, where everybody has to work all the time to be able to survive, so many people are caught up where instead of living their lives and understanding their lives, I see people comparing their lives. And when you start comparing your life to others around you and looking for, well, keeping up with the Joneses, it's not a new concept, but it's never been a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, it can give you inspiration. It can give you an idea of what you're truly looking for, what your goals are. But when you put your happiness in the ideas of, I will be happy once I catch up with the Joneses, that can be a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Don't get in that slope.
Right.
I tried not to. Still am. But that's FOMO. It's tough. 2020, human beings right now, I look on Facebook and I think, I'd like to be that. I'd like to be that. I would rather be there. I would rather be eating that.
Right.
It's the way it is.
That's true.
How do we battle that? What do you think? Like, how do we take a step back and not compare ourselves to others? I think it comes down to an optimistic sort of standpoint, like from where you come from. You could see somebody, and I'm just speaking hypothetically from what I assume that you could take a look at. Let's say one of my friends is out in Guatemala eating and having a vacation and drinking and having a good time, and I sit here on my phone and I'm like, why aren't I doing that?
Mm-hmm.
But I can also see somebody a little bit more from your side of things taking a look and saying more like, oh, good for them. They're really having a great time.
Right.
That's awesome. It'd be cool if I got to do something like that myself someday.
Maybe I would want to.
Those are two separate, that's the exact opposite sides of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I think more of us, and I have no scientific evidence to back this up, but more people are sitting there saying, I wish I could be doing that. Why aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Versus saying, that's cool for them. I hope I feel like that someday, or do my own version of that someday.
Mm-hmm.
We all just think we're bad because we're not them doing that.
Right. I think that a lot of people just don't have that priority set straight. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's in it. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you don't know what's going to make you happy yet. You don't have the grip on those things in your life, and that's scary as hell. You know what I mean? And so the comparative mind, the jealousy, bitterness, those kind of resentment, all of those feelings are much easier to attach to, which is why they're the primary ones.
It's easy.
Right. But for me, like, you know, you can use that example right there of like somebody on vacation or something else, and a lot of people look at it and they're like, damn, I wish that was me, you know, you lucky bastard.
What am I doing wrong because I'm not
that?
Right, exactly. Why don't I have that?
Right, because I have what I want, what my priorities are, where my happiness is. I don't ever look at someone else and think, I want that, because I'm happy. You know what I mean? So why would I ever be jealous of someone else's happiness too? The sad thing too is that a lot of people who post those things that you're looking at are fucking miserable, dude, and like they're hiding behind a lens that is that outlet to the outside world, and it doesn't resonate real with them either.
Social media is not real.
Right.
Social media is the highlight reel.
Yep.
Of people's lives, and some people have a lot more highlights or even choose to put more of their life on there than others, but it's the highlight reel for people. It's not the life.
And so you see how, like, when that's your immediate response, when that's your immediate reaction, it's much easier to not have that kind of comparative mind to them. You know what I mean? Like, and when I see a picture of someone in front of a sunset on some beach in amazing landscape behind them, the only thing that crosses my mind is like, I hope in that moment you're experiencing some awesome peace, and if you have that, I'm super happy for you, and if you don't have that, I hope you get it, because you're staring at something so beautiful, and the fact that it's not speaking to you breaks my heart. And so I don't ever have that kind of comparative mind. It stays away from me, and it becomes a habit, it's just like anything
I would
else.
say I would say, with no scientific evidence, we should put that at the beginning of the shows from now.
Disclaimer, every episode.
Ben has no scientific evidence.
He's just going to shout
of his claims.
stuff.
This is all Ben's opinion. Yeah. I feel like
the opinions of Ben do not reflect the BOWA Show podcast as a whole.
So many people just look at that and they think I'm not doing a good enough job because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And then that's when resentment and even jealousy can come in and say, I wish that person didn't have it because I don't. And that's when you get down that slippery slope of comparing. All of a sudden becomes negativity towards others around you when nobody needs more negativity.
Yep.
It used to be a highlight reel. If we think back to my early years of high school when Facebook was coming around, people would post stuff on there like cool photos of them with their friends. I had a baby. This funny thing happened today. And so we would all be like, oh, that's great. Haha, things are good. Oh, look at this. Now it's like, put everything you have and do and think and feel and love on Facebook.
Right.
And that's your life. If your life isn't all out on Facebook, what are you doing? And then other people compare, my wall isn't as fun as somebody else's. I don't have as many friends.
Yeah.
That is why I'm trying to turn away from social media at some point. It's just, it gives people the wrong priorities. It's about priorities.
Well, and you can find endless research online that tells you about how horrible social media can be if you let it influence you in the wrong ways.
Especially think about the adolescents.
Right?
Period.
Young kids going through these kind of things.
Yeah, like kids judge each other based on their social media
what kind of likes do you have on Facebook? How many views do you have on YouTube?
Somebody in middle school who's got like 1,000 likes on TikTok is all of a sudden the most popular kid in school,
right?
Versus, come on. Yep. I think it's rubbing humans the wrong way. We've utilized it more than we should have, or we haven't prioritized what we should have prioritized for the technology.
Yep. And I think that's
we got ahead of ourselves.
I think that's why like social media can be used for good things. Like I think
absolutely. I'm not saying it's terrible.
Right.
I'm just saying we misprioritize.
Yep.
Because we haven't been. we are the forefront of internet.
Yep.
Our generation.
We're
right
curving.
Here. Yeah, we are. We created it. Here we are trying to learn it. But we got ahead of ourselves and started saying, this is somebody's resume.
Yeah.
Their online persona.
Yeah, everything is your online persona now, and getting back in reality, getting back into the people, the things that are important to you, your hobbies, your passions, getting that touch back on reality is a huge asset into stepping away from that comparative mind, stepping away from that social media mindset, getting away from that. So I think that can be very big for you. It's odd. We'll be right back, YouTube, after a non-commercial break.
You're going to say it's odd and then just leave them hanging?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Again, just a flash in the pan for YouTube. It's not like our breaks matter at all to you guys, but one day maybe there will be a commercial there.
Yeah, possibly. We'll be those guys.
We'll get like 1 cent video. The only thing we have going for us is that the people who watch long periods of time because our episodes are like an hour long. So we get a lot of hours streamed to YouTube through a small group of you out there. Thanks.
Ready for the podcast?
Yeah. I think that it's fitting randomly stumbling upon Kobe Bryant motivational speech that we can tie in today as well.
Now, it is 30 minutes long, but we're only going to show you 3 minutes of it.
Yep, if you want to check it out on YouTube, the full link will be in the description. always included for you. Worth checking out. Somebody who has a brilliant mind for basketball and saw things differently and talks about how mentality helped shape that for him. So fitting for today. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, and take a listen.
Coming up, just a moment.
To me, the mentality is a really simple one in the sense that the confidence comes from preparation. So when the game's on the line, I'm not asking myself to do something that I haven't done thousands of times before, right? So when I prepare, I know what I'm capable of doing, I know what I'm comfortable doing, and I know what I'm not comfortable doing. Right? And so in those moments, if it looks like I'm ice cold or not nervous, it's because I've done it thousands of times before. So it's one more time.
So that leads me to talk about a lot of this Kobe tour this year in Asia is we reiterate the Mamba mentality. Can you talk a little bit about what the Mamba mentality is? Because that's something that's been developing over, I don't want to say 20 years. It's been developing for 35 years, right? Since you were a little kid, that Mamba mentality. Because you didn't start working when you got to the NBA. You started working when you were at Lower Merion, when you were in Italy, when you were 5, when you were playing Nerf basketball, right? So talk about the development of the Mamba mentality, the 5 pillars of this Mamba mentality, and then we'll kind of break it down.
Well, overall, the idea is a very simple one, and the Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. That's what the mentality means. It means every day you're trying to become better. And it's a constant quest. It's an infinite quest. So starting at the age of 2, when I first started playing the game, and on and on and on, I always ask questions. I always try to get better every single day, learn more.
You were asking questions at 2?
Oh, dude, I was asking questions all the time. You'd be surprised. Like some people, like my kids at 2 could do a lot of things. Right? At 2, I could dribble a basketball. I could shoot a basketball on the Nerf hoop at the house. And I would go to practice with my father. I would observe my father. I'd sit and watch games with him. And
Was he your first coach?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. A lot of things I learned by being around the game. Right? So by the age of 6, I was already strategizing versus other 6-year-olds. The age of 6, I figured out 6-year-olds couldn't dribble with their left hand. So I said, okay.
A lot of 12-year-olds can't dribble with their left.
Well, yeah, well, imagine 6. So when I was playing these 6-year-old kids, I would make them dribble with their left because I knew they couldn't. And so they dribble off their foot, pick it up, lay it up. Do it again. Dribble off foot, pick it up, lay it up. So at 6 years old, I had 63 points. And I remember my dad.
So your 6-year-old self could beat your 38-year-old self because you only scored 60 in the last game.
Yeah, no, but I could do it with my left though, so that's a problem. But yeah, listen, I just constantly looked for things to learn from.
It was crazy. He had 60 points in his last
very
game.
Observant.
And I think we can all have Mamba mentality.
Mamba mentality.
I think that it's important, like he said in there, the overall message is the observance, the growth, the asking questions from a young age.
See things you can improve upon.
And
do them.
Thirst for learning and growth and making that a part of your life and needing that in your life.
Yeah.
It seems to be a running theme of 2020 that we talk about quite a bit.
I think that's all we've talked about in 2020 so far.
I think that a perspective is super important, so maybe we do need to talk about it that much. Because it really still is. Who gives a crap that it's the 26th right now? If you're having a bad start to the year, you can still start over tomorrow. Any day can be that new day for you when you need it to be.
Right.
It's important that you always keep that for yourself. And you never know where your change is going to come from. You never know what conversation might lead to what changes out of nowhere,
I just love how he says be observant, see what you can change, and then make those changes. He doesn't say see what you can improve upon and flip them 150% tomorrow. Improve upon them.
Right.
That's big. That's what we've been talking about. That's my motto. That's what I'm going for right now as a human being. Just be better today than you were yesterday. And even if you falter sometimes and you have trouble, and maybe yesterday you were better than you were today, it doesn't mean you can't try to, again, make tomorrow better than today.
Yep.
Keep working and improving.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing, and it's all I can do. And I don't know what else to do.
Baby
keep
steps.
working on it.
Yeah. Everybody needs those baby steps. They're vital.
It's basically the motto of the BOWA show. Make
Baby
the best of what's around. Take baby steps to do it.
Yep. See ya on the other side.
Yep. Hopefully it works.
I think it does.
That's all I got to say, honestly. It's just these baby steps. I mean, we can listen to 100 different celebrities talk about it. We can listen to 100 different motivational videos talk about it, but it's just try to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday, and vice versa.
Yep. I think that's going to be our philosophy of the BOWA show, too. I'm excited for where 2020 takes us. We're going to look into a lot more guests. We have across the horizon big opportunities that are starting to present themselves to us, which is pretty awesome to see.
Yep. If you want to be a guest, let us know. We are really getting going with Skype and video calls.
And the quality is good enough that we can plug in those recorded calls into the podcast. Yep. So we're figuring out the logistics of it now.
Yep. So if you want to be a guest and you're not in West Michigan, please don't let that, hinder your ideas of being on the show. We'd love to have you on the show.
And there are several people that we'll be reaching out to specifically to get the ball rolling in the meantime. So the next couple weeks we'll see those guests rolling out. Maybe not next week specifically, but very soon that will become a regular fixture of the show. I would love to get to a point where we can just every week feature a new person's story and just share that with people, and that can be your positivity package. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always have to be me and Ben talking. The show will evolve and continue to grow as it always has. If you listen to episode 40 today and you listen to episode 4, which is the first episode we did of the actual show, you will see a stark contrast between the two of them.
Very much different. Sound quality, also the way that we, hold the show has changed tremendously.
Yeah, just being comfortable talking and realizing how much more comfortable you can become the more you do it. So I'm excited to see where the show takes us in the future. We wouldn't be there without every single one of you guys out there being awesome. Something that I know that has been complained about quite a bit that I'm going to hold you to today, Ben.
I know, I've literally been thinking about it here for about 60 seconds.
I know, since you saw me highlighting this on my page that says I'm not going to let you forget.
And I don't have a good one.
Doesn't matter, you're going to go anything today.
Oh my God.
Ben's Tips. Like the Sega.
Tips from Ben.
Tips.
But here's...
Tips. Ben.
Okay.
Ben's tip of the day.
Okay, here's a very basic one. It's not very funny, but it's fiscally responsible, and it does help you in your future endeavors. So many people get caught up buying a daily coffee. So many people get caught up buying lunch every day, takeout. And not only is that bad for you as a human being physically if you're eating takeout every day for lunch, but it's also bad because you go through a lot of single-use plastics. You go through, you are benefiting people by being there and requesting food and all. Pack your goddamn lunch, all right? Because I had a revelation a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. If you pack your frickin' lunch and you start to do the math on what you spend on going out to lunch every day or every other day. And what else could you put that money into? For me, it's hobbies like vinyl records, down payments for a house, paying off student loans. If I was to go and spend $11 freaking on Jimmy John's every freaking day, that's $55 a week. 4 weeks out of the month, that's $220.
$2,400 a year.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, what can you do with that? So if I was to make a shitty sandwich for $11, I think I'd rather do it at home. That's Ben's tip. Pack your goddamn lunch.
Pack your damn lunch, people.
Pack your damn lunch.
Ben's tip of the day.
But if you live close enough to home, please go home because it will help your mentality if you can break work into 4-hour segments. I am a true believer because I am a doer. That's what I do right now.
Good for you.
Live 8 minutes from home, go home every day for lunch, sit at my table, pet my dog.
Yep.
That helps.
That's right. Clear the mind.
But if you can't, pack your goddamn lunch.
Yeah, there you go. Ben's tip of the day. I said I was holding you to it.
Oh, we need some music now. Da-da-da, that was Ben's tip of the day. Digga.
You nailed it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Masked singer, here I come.
That's right. I think that it would be a good time to jump into some comedy for the wrap-up of the show.
That would help today be a little bit funnier since my tip was shit.
And we had bad news, and we had...
we had good news too, but we
and...
had some wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into some.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Oh, I thought you were going to go, about that thing.
Don't worry. Be happy now.
Because every little thing is going to be all right.
There you go.
Mashup.
Get behind that song.
Mashup right there. We should go to Electric Forest and be DJs.
I won't.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
But, all right, this is a good one. This is from the Laugh Factory. We're going to keep playing
Esther.
them. We're going to get it called Little Esther. I have never heard her before.
Apparently she's small in stature.
And very edgy. So it's pretty awesome if you got kids listening. This one's not too bad, but come on. Be a parent. You decide. It's up to you. But it's a good one. We're going to keep playing Laugh Factory until they sue us. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Little Esther. I accidentally cut her, but I'll put her back. Can you imagine naming your child Little Esther? Or Esther in general? Hi, this is my 3-week-old. Her name's Esther. Oh, wow, Esther's so cute. Yeah, that never happened.
I'm half Jewish, half regular. And I'm not technically a Jew because my mom is Christian and sexually attractive. But my dad is so Jewish that I didn't go to Hebrew school because he didn't want to pay the dues you have to pay to belong to a temple. And all my cousins on my non-Jew side never wanted to play with me, and I was like, you guys, I didn't choose to be Jewish, okay? I was chosen. It's not my fault. Okay, that's don't F with me. And it's kind of creepy, my dad's 15 years older than my mom. But to be fair, I read in GQ that men who marry younger women tend to live longer, and I told my dad that, and he said that that's their punishment. Yeah, and then he said if he could go back in time, he wouldn't need a family, he would just need a wheelbarrow for all the money he'd still have. I'm so happy he loves us. He's 68, and I look like I'm 15, so when we're out in the Midwest, people usually think he's my grandfather, and then when we're out in LA, they think he's my boyfriend. It's super gross. And people always think I'm a teenager. I'm like, excuse me, do real teenagers have mustaches? No, they don't.
Oh, we're still on YouTube, aren't we? What are you doing?
Just looking at you, batting my eyes, just waiting.
You could have said something.
Well, I didn't feel like it after the first 30 seconds.
I know, you really just chilled there, and then I realized what we were doing.
I think we leave it so that YouTube really knows how things work around here at the BOWA show.
Whatever.
Well, then you keep slamming that down.
I don't when we're on the mic.
It's true. So you're ready to come back from Little Esther?
Yeah. Good stuff.
It is good stuff. I could just hear you laughing all the way up to the end.
Maybe they called her Little Esther because her set was short.
Wait, that's terrible.
No. Dad jokes. Dad jokes run aplenty for me.
I just like how she's like, I'm not technically Jewish because my mom is attractive. Which is terrible.
It is.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, I can't. We can't say those kind of things.
I said
We're not
edgy.
Jewish.
I said edgy.
She doesn't swear much though, so
You don't have to be.
At least
You don't have to
there's
swear to
that.
be edgy.
thanks to the Laugh Factory.
Yes, Laugh Factory.
One day they might hit us with a cease and desist, but that day is not today.
No, it's coming though.
One day.
I feel it. If we got
Nah.
Ace Hardy.
They'll just get on board with us.
Comment.
Watch. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Why don't we just put your podcast up on our Instagram?"
Yeah, they won't.
Whatever
do
the
that,
kids
though.
are
They'll
using.
be like, "Yo,
nowadays.
pay us $300,000, or we're gonna put you in jail forever."
No chance. We love you guys.
Yes. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for being a part of the BOWA show.
YouTube, thank you for putting up with Sean's 57-second break.
He could have said something.
I didn't.
He just let me sit there.
Yep, it was great though.
I forgot how short her set was.
It was 1 minute and 33 seconds.
I
Yes.
know, right?
Yeah, but it's just dead silence, and you just sit there looking at your phone, answering text messages. I was
Short,
so
sweet,
tempted
to the
to
point.
read the text, but I didn't because I'm a good friend.
Yeah, you could have.
I didn't.
Uneventful.
Yeah, all right. Almost as uneventful as your Trailer Park Boys game.
I like that though. That's a good time killer for me.
You got to get rid of it.
Nah,
It's bad for you.
little joys.
It's all about a little thing.
That's right.
That's what we're talking about. That's our motto. That's the thing. Little steps, small steps. Just figure out what you want to do. Figure out how you can be happier today than you were yesterday. Figure out how you can sleep better, work out better, eat better. Just enjoy life a little bit better than you did yesterday.
Yep.
That's the goal. And if you fail, that's fine. Pick up the cycle again at your
Tomorrow's a
next
new day.
dosage.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you haven't heard it recently, you're loved. You matter. You're important. You have purpose being here. You're alive for a reason. Keep fighting. Keep that good attitude with you. It's absolutely crucial to your mindset moving forward. And a lot of times you just don't hear it often enough that you're loved. So I'll always make sure that we at least remind you of that at the end of every single episode that
We
you
do.
get.
Thank you so much for listening. We love you.
Life's tough. You're tougher. Spread some love. Tackle today. And as always, make the best of what's around.
Great ending.
It's gonna be the ender probably from now on. We'll rotate in a couple other ones too. We talked about that, but this song just cracks me up at the end of an episode.
Send the night away.
We got both our attitudes in one song right here.
He drinks a vodka drink. He drinks a lager drink. He drinks a soda drink.
That's all.
Daddy boy.